another process video for you. This time I will be using various scrapbook.com exclusive products, and I will be scrapbooking like a very bittersweet picture of me. This is my beloved dog. His name was Pirate, and he recently passed away after 13 years we spent together. It really hit me hard, and even now when I'm speaking this I can feel the tears in my eyes, and I decided I need to pay him kind of a tribute, scrapbooking one of the pictures we had together. He was my scrubby companion. Every time I was in my scrap room, he came here and just sit next to me or sleep next to me, like being just a silent observer. Sometimes we snapped pictures together, and this one was taken during one of those times when we scrapbooked together. And I know it's not a perfect picture, like it's a blurry one, but so many memories connect to this, so I decided I will scrapbook this particular picture. And because of the colors, I decided to use a new Marigold collection from Crate Paper. Well, elements of this collection, and the color scheme is like a pale beige, gold, I don't know, like a boho colors. So I reached for my watercolors, and I'm using mostly Decadent Pie set from Prima. This set is just perfect for this color combination, and I will be also using the Boko smooth cardstock paper pad that you can see in the corner of my screen right now. So I'm only looking for the colors matching this scheme, like browns, golden yellows, dirty pink colors, and I'm painting half of the paper with the brush, quite wet brush, and then I just rotate the paper, put it vertically to make the color flow, creating this kind of one line of color on the other side. It's like a work in process, because I wasn't sure what exactly I wanted to. I knew I wanted stripes. I thought maybe I would just put a few stripes in the middle of the page, but then I decided maybe I will just make drips of water through the page. So I followed this kind of idea, and it all turned out really pretty. As you can see, I'm trying not to touch the stripes, the stripe that was previously painted, only with, like, only a few points, because otherwise the color would mix together, and you can see on the brown color that it already happened. And I need enough moisture to make the color flow. Some of the colors I am using, the copper one and the gold one has the metallic shimmer, which is also great for the things I'm intending to do later on the layout. So it's totally fine for me, and it's like a nice bonus. I painted everything. I used watercolor paper to hold the moisture better, and I left everything to dry air. I didn't use the heat gun. I didn't want the paper to kind of wave too much. And when everything was dry, I took new metallic ink from scrapbook.com and applied it through the stencil called Little Paws, because yeah, this stencil is just perfect for any pet projects. And my advice for you, because this is a very shimmery ink and the particles sometimes tend to smear around, so if you want the best, like a shimmery result, tap the paint over the stencil, not smear the sponge through, because otherwise you will kind of remove the top layer, which is the most shiny. So tap the ink, but do not move the brush or whatever you are using over the surface, because after it will dry, it will start permanent and the shine will be even better. But when it's wet, you can wipe off this metallic shimmer, so it's better to gently tap the ink through the stencil than just smudge it all over it. I took this boho cardstock pad, which is a very convenient size for card makers, but you can easily use it for layouts too, and shape die with a rainbow. It was, I think it was thought of card makers because it has a room for inscription and additional die. You can cut out this kind of fishtail tag in the middle. But I thought, well, I have a dog who passed the rainbow bridge recently, and the rainbows would be just the perfect, I would say, symbol of what happened here. And I took 4 colors matching my color scheme, and I cut it out 4 rainbows. And when all the 4 rainbows were done, I knew I wanted to mix the color to create like an actual rainbow, not the real rainbow with real rainbow colors order, but kind of, you know, whimsical rainbow. And I also took a piece of spare cardstock and cut an additional one that will help me mount my colors in the right direction, in the right spacing. So I'm removing the inner pieces and I'm ready to glue my rainbow down. As you can see, I'm cutting off the rainbow arches from the base that holds them together, and I will be gluing them onto my cardstock background. You don't have to do it if you don't want to have this perfect spacing between them. You can glue them on the paper right away, or as I am doing here, I used a piece of plastic foil to glue down the rainbow elements, so they were spaced and I didn't have to glue each of the rainbow art separately to the layout. You will see it later when it all comes together. And I'm starting with the first stripe, the biggest, and then following to the smaller and smaller and the smallest. And I had elements to build 4 rainbows, which I did. I am only showing you how to make the first one, and the 3 more I did off camera because the process is exactly the same. And I'm gluing down my rainbow over the plastic, transparent plastic. It's a leftover from the shaker project I did before, so nothing is wasted here. And I'm applying small amount of double-sided tape and I'm gluing it over the background. As you can see, I'm not gluing this fishtail tag, just the rainbows, because I'm going to remove it. I only want to have rainbow stripes, not the tag that connects them. But thanks to the plastic foil, they all stay together in the same spacing that I did on the die. And this is the first one I did. The other 3 rainbows, well, I didn't cut out the cardstock. I just went with you know, eyeballing, and I did 3 more rainbows using plastic, transparent plastic, so they may not look exactly the same as the previous ones. I picked one of the papers from Christmas, smooth cardstock, that looks like a craft paper, and I made the pictures with it. And I also added this decorative edge using this edge punch that creates like a notebook ending. I don't know how to call it in English. Well, in Polish, I don't know how to call it either. And I'm adding a piece of cardstock in between the picture and my first layer, and I will be layering more elements underneath. I am using Marigold collection, mostly ephemera pieces. I haven't used, no, I used one paper, but only to cut out the element out of it. You will see it later. And I'm building everything behind the picture. So this is like building from the top, kind of building the composition when I'm starting with the picture and I'm adding bigger and bigger elements behind it. And this is the tag I cut out from one of the papers. So this is building from the top, from the picture, and then moving downwards with the elements, adding layers, adding more cardboard to create dimension. But you can also start with the first layer, like the biggest one, and then add smaller and smaller and smaller. I don't know which way is easier. I think maybe this way, especially if you already know the picture you want to use. use, and you don't want to build up too big composition to cover too much of the background. But I sometimes do this, and sometimes I'll start with the papers, and the pictures like the final layer to me. So it's all up to you. I'm gluing down the photo with all the embellishments behind it, and I'm gluing down the first rainbow, and I will proceed with adding more rainbows and more elements. I have few tags that I cut it out from one of the papers, but I wanted to add flowers too. It's like a beagle boy, so it maybe should be more masculine, but well, it wasn't about like how manly he was. It was about the friendship that we had together and all those special moments. So I'm waiting for my tears to soak in again. And I'm gluing down the rainbows using those very handy strips of double-sided foam adhesive. And I really love this one, and I'm using it all over again. This is of course scrapbook.com exclusive, and it's perfect for making like a shakers because it bends, so you can curve the curve the foam. And I'm adding my title. It will be I will always remember you, and I use this remember from gold foiled stickers from Marigold collection, and then I have remember you, and I will be adding I will always using some older golden stickers that I have in my stash for a longer time. I'm not sure which collection it was. It looks to me like maybe one of Paige Evans' collections because of the font and the small alphabet that reminds me other ones, but I'm not sure. I do not always buy them with collections. Sometimes I just purchase them because I know I will use a lot of gold. Or I proceed decorating my page using more elements from this collection. I don't think I showed you every single step here because they were really small ones, and I was wondering if I should do this or add this, so it took a long time. So I cut it out some elements. Here I'm adding bits and pieces from the cardstock stickers, my favorite product from all Crate Paper collections. I always buy them. And I'm finishing my page adding smaller elements like this owl. It doesn't relate to the dog, but it's an animal, so well, I needed something to accomplish this page. And I'm adding also a small heart to add more gold and shine to the page. And I just love those rolls of stickers. They are quite thin, but there are plenty of them, so you don't feel like, oh no, I can't use it because I will run out of stickers of this sort. So this is something I'm using very often. Not every collection from Crate Paper have them, but I think two last collections had them. At least I have it from the Sweet Story and from Marigold collection too. So I added some small items, and I'm finishing my page adding a little bit of gold splatters, and I used this gold metallic ink reinker to add my splatters and a little bit of water. They mix well together, and I'm using just a small brush to apply small splatters. I didn't want the bigger ones to appear on the background. And my page is almost done. This is the final step. You will see how shiny it is in a minute in a few close-ups, because now you can't see those little paws on the background, but they are totally visible when you have the layout in your hand, and they are very shiny. And here are few close-ups. I will leave you all the links in the description box to the products I used. Thank you so much for stopping by, for leaving thumbs up and sweet comments. This means a lot to me, and see you soon on one of my next videos. Bye!